Hello friends, we are from Techno Predator Consultancy. Our aim is to provide the interface between academia and industry. Our today's topic is fire triangle and zone classification. This is part 1 of the lecture. We will be releasing other parts soon. So if we talk about zone classification, so there are different types of zone in terms of fire and explosion hazard, which is zone 0 in case of vapors, in case of dust which is called as zone 20. The second one is zone 1, which is in case of dust called as zone 21. Third is zone 2 in case of dust, which is called as zone 22. And then there is a safe zone, which is a non-hazardous zone, where we can say that it's an ordinary situation where flammable vapors or combustible dust is not present. So before going deep into the topic, let's discuss about fire triangle. It is equally important for us. Why? Because first of all we need to understand that if fire happened or if fire is going to happen, what sort of thing needs to be present over there so that fire or explosion can happen. So this is the fire triangle. So if we talk about fire triangle, to complete the fire triangle we need to have three elements. One is oxygen, which you know that, which is readily available. So we know that there is in the environment the oxygen level is between the range of 19.5% to 21.5%. okay, so it is readily available. Then we have ignition source. We'll be talking about the ignition source as well. Okay, and the third thing what we have is flammable material. So flammable material is also something which is required to get the fire happen. So without all these three, oxygen, ignition and flammable material, if you remove one of them, suppose you remove the oxygen, sometimes we used to do nitrogen blanketing, we used to do inert gas blanketing. Okay, so with the inert gas, oxygen presence is not there, so we can eliminate the fire occurrence. Or if we eliminate this ignition source, if we talk about, it can be anything, so we'll be discussing more on this. So the simple example is smoking. Somebody smokes near to the combustible material, oxygen is present, fire happens. Okay, then next is flammable material. So flammable material, if you talk about, so flammable material is something which can cause fire, which can attract fire in a ambient atmosphere. Okay, so if you remove the flammable material from there, then the fire occurrence may not be there. So if we talk about this fire triangle more in detail, so if you remove one of the things, like if you remove oxygen, fire will not happen. If you remove ignition source, fire will not happen. If you remove flammable material, fire will not happen. Suppose two things are there. Okay, you need to assess the risk, you need to eliminate one of the things. Okay, so flammable material, you must have seen these type of symbols in the flammable material. The simple example is the LPG cylinder which comes to your house. It is with one of these symbol. This is flammable symbol. That means this material can catch fire easily. Okay, in the ambient atmosphere. Okay, only a small amount of ignition source is required and becomes a flammable material. So it is called as a flammable material because it can ignite easily. Then oxygen, if I have already talked about, it is already available in the environment. So if you see that we are living without oxygen, our survival is also not there. So oxygen is something which is always available. Okay, then you have source of ignition. Source of ignition, I was talking about the like smoking. Smoking is something which can be a source of ignition. There are other things as well. So source of ignition, if you eliminate or substitute the activity with something else, you can eliminate the fire occurrence. Okay, so source of ignition, the example of source of ignition can be anything. Suppose you are doing hot work, okay, that is also a source of ignition. Welding activity you are doing, gas cutting activity you are doing, that is also a source of ignition. Static can also be a source of ignition in case of petroleum products, because static generates, and it once it liberates, it can cause fire. Okay, and there can be other things as well, like if you lose the administrative control, if I have already talked about that, cigarette smoking is there, then also it can be a ignition source. Sometimes we used to believe that lot of incidents happened because of electrical short circuiting, because if something doesn't comes in our mind, and investigation report doesn't conclude with the right source, then we say that it is due to the electrical short circuiting, because that is something which is general, and it becomes generic, because if you are not finding that the incident has happened because of static, because proving it's very difficult. Proving that the incident has happened because of static charge, it's very difficult. Incident has happened because of smoking, it's very difficult. So electrical short circuiting becomes a low hanging fruit. So whenever the person does the root cause analysis, if any incident happens, he or she always used to conclude that electrical short circuiting is the main source. I am not saying that these RCAs are incorrect, but I only say that don't, once you are doing the root cause analysis, don't incline yourself towards one root cause. Okay, you need to see, you need to open your mind, you need to see that everything, I am open with everything. The spark can be generated from anywhere, ignition source can be anything. Okay. Next is zone definitions. This is also something important to understand, that is zone 0. So there are I was already talking about that there are three zones: zone 0, zone 1 and zone 2. We will be talking about zone 0. So zone 0, in which an explosive atmosphere is continuously present, or present for long period, more than 1000 hours per year. Okay, so this is the definition. If the explosive atmosphere is continuously present, so if I talk about solvent, so solvent having the flash point means a point from where liquid converts to vapor. Okay, so first occurrence of vapors happens at the flash point level. So if I talk about, suppose isopropylene alcohol is there, ethanol is there, these are the solvents. Okay, so in these cases what will happen? So they have a flash point of 13 degrees, so their vapors are readily available. Okay, so what you call it as, if the tank is there, okay, if a tank is there and inside the tank there is a liquid, okay, inside the tank there is a liquid, so inside this tank, okay, inside this tank, this will be zone 0. Why? Because the flammable vapors will always be present in this area. Okay, I hope you understand. Then we will be talking about zone 1, a zone in which an explosive atmosphere is likely to occur in normal operation. So likely to occur means what? The tank is there, so besides the tank there is a vent. Okay, on the top of the tank there is a vent, or there is a line which goes to pump, and there are flanges in the line. Okay, so what will happen? So the vapors liberate from flanges, there would be some sort of release would be there, and then vapors release from this vent. So location near to this is the zone 1 classified location. So any mixing is happening with the flammable material having the flash point lesser. So in that case you can easily identify that this is the zone 1 area. So in other terms, if I talk about, so if I talk about 2 meters radius, like near to this 2-meter distance here, 2-meter distance here, that would be a zone 1 classified area. Okay, then is zone 2. Zone 2 is a zone in which an explosive atmosphere is not likely to occur in normal operation, and if it occurs, it will only exist for a short time, 1 to 10 hours per year. So if I talk about zone 2, it would be in the warehouses. Suppose in the warehouse solvent is kept, okay, but it is kept in the closed bottle, okay, it is kept in the closed bottle. So if it is kept in the closed bottle, what will happen if any spillage happens over there, any fall of a pallet happens over there, like the entire pallet falls down and the liberation occurs. So this area would be classified as zone 2 area because it is controlled, it is inside the container, a container is there, and inside the container the material is there, but the container is closed. So in any case, maybe in 10 years or 100 years, if these containers falls down, so the exposure will be limited. So in this case, this area is classified as zone 2. Why this classification done? Why the main reason of all these classification is that once you classify the location as hazardous location, once you classify these as these are the zone classified location, then all the electrical equipments, whatever the electrical equipments you are using, that should be flame proof, ATEX approved, which we call it at in our factories, that it should be ATEX approved. Okay, so I'll show you the symbol as well, that what ATEX look like, how the symbol is. And these actually these equipments are costly also, so it's good to have a good zone classification, because what will happen if the zone classification is not done correctly? If you say that my entire area is zone classified, your capital expenditure for the plant would be very high, and maintaining these flame proof equipment is also a costly affair, because if you want to replace it, if any rectification needs to be done in these equipments, then in that case what will happen? So cost will be involved. It is if I talk about from a normal flame proof, suppose a junction box is there, from a normal junction box, the flame proof junction box would be 4 to 5 times costlier compared to the non flame proof one. So it's pretty very important that zone classification should be done in a right manner, and it should be done by the expert people from the industries. Okay, so they are experts, and they know that how to do the zone classification. There are various parameters required of the flammable material for doing this zone classification study. We will be talking on this. This is the basic lecture, so we are not going into the detail of that, how we are doing the zone classification. This is only to clear your concept regarding that what is the definition of zone classification. Non-hazardous area, an area in which an explosive gas or air mixture is not expected to be present in quantities such as to require special precaution for the construction, use and maintenance of electrical equipment. I hope you understand that. Okay, so this looks to be okay, correct? Okay, so this is the non-hazardous area. Maximum of our factories falls under the non-hazardous areas until unless you are using any flammable material, a solvent based material, petroleum products, then in that case you need to do the zone classification. However, if you are seeing this lecture, I would probably say that you must have heard this word zone classification. You wanted to understand and clear the concept on zone classification study. So zone location examples. So I will give you the example. However, I have discussed these examples in the previous slide as well, but I will be discussing here as well. So zone 0, inside the solvent tank. So I was talking about that if the tank is there, inside this tank, this is the zone 0 area. Okay, if the tank is there, inside the tank, this is zone 0, because the flammable vapors are always present. Okay, so it is zone 0. Zone 1, solvent based production areas, like if you have a production areas and a lot of mixing is happening, you are producing solvent based products, so these areas are classified as zone 1. Around mixers, filling machines, because you are filling your product into the cans, dispersers, etc., up to 1.5 to 2 meters. So as a thumb rule, take it as 2 meter from the floor. So basically the solvent vapors are heavier than air. So what happens once the solvent vapor liberates? Okay, So what will happen, air will be on the top of the solvent vapor, and solvent vapor would be at the ground. So from the ground up to 2 meters, that area is really very flammable, and because the flammable vapors would be present in this area, so whatever the things are there, like we used to talk about that anti-static shoes as well. The shoe should be anti-static. Why? Because on the floor the solvent vapors are present. So if you wear the anti-static shoes, the chances of occurrence of fire because of static would be less. And even the equipment installed over there should not generate any spark. You should use the tools, the spanners you should use, it should be sparkless spanners, brass, it should be of brass or aluminum alloy, so that it should only generate the cold spark, hot spark should not be there. Okay, so zone 1 classified area. So most of the, if you are doing the study of the entire factory, what will happen, most of the equipments areas besides the equipment would be falling under zone 2. Why? Because inside the equipment it is zone 0. You know that mixing vessel is there, mixing agitator would be there. So what will happen, so if you have a good clearance with the mixing agitator, the striking of the agitator blade to the wall of the mixer may not be there. Okay, so that possibility you can ignore. So during the design itself you need to take into the consideration that this is zone 0 classified area, I should have a very good clearance, and on the bearing should be made such that no spark should be there. Okay, and on the top of it, if some motor is there, so motor also you need to see that motor should be flame proof. Okay, zone 2, I have already talked about drum park, warehouse, upper part of production areas, generally around and beyond the zone 1. So beyond the zone 1, so what happens here, so if I made a circle, one circle is zone 0. Okay, this is zone 0. The second circle up to 2 meters would be zone 2. Okay, this zone zone 1, this is zone 0, this is zone 1, and the last circle after this zone 1 would be zone 2. I have not made the circle correctly because I am using the highlighter. So but for understanding purpose it should be pretty clear. Okay, so zone 0, zone 1 and zone 2. So you must have seen this hexagon with an EX written on it. This is something which we call it as flame proof equipments. Okay, so this symbol should be there on the flame proof equipment, then you can say that these equipments are flame proof. Okay, and it is ATEX approved, what we say that in a common word. So whenever you purchase any motor in this classified area, it should show this symbol EX. Okay, if that symbol is there, so your motor is ATEX approved and it is a flame proof motor. Okay, I hope I am clearing your concept. So one thing is that if you have not subscribed our channel, so please subscribe our channel, because you would be getting latest inputs and updates, and we'll be uploading more and more videos in these topics. Okay, so next is dust zones. Dust zone is, so there are materials which is combustible, so there are powders which is combustible. Okay, so there are cellulose powders which is combustible in nature, so it can form a cloud dust. Okay, so it can form a cloud dust. I will be discussing more on this. So this topic is only with respect to the definitions, what is the zone. So I'll be focusing on zone only. I'll be talking about how to do the zone classification as well. So it depends on your response. Once I am getting a very good response, if you comment on my video that I should upload the zone classification video as well, so I'll be uploading that for your references, and you can follow it for company zone classification. However, I will still recommend that, since you people may not be expert or you may be expert. Okay, so you should basically do your competency by yourself. If you are an expert, do the study. If you are still learner, so learn it try to see that what zone classification the specialist has done for your factory, and how you are predicting it, how you are basically you are taking it. So you also do your zone classification, compare your zone classification with the expert zone classification. Once you find it that now it is relevant, now you are able to do the zone classification study, please do it. So zone 20, a place in which an explosive atmosphere in the form of a cloud of combustible dust in air is present continuously or for a longer period or frequently. Okay, it is similar that zone 0. So it is just like inside the IBC, so intermediate bulk collector, where the dust is there, powder is there. So on the top of this it is a zone 0 area. Okay, then you have zone 21, a place in which an explosive atmosphere in the form of a cloud of combustible dust in air is likely to occur in normal operation occasionally. So it is same as zone 1. Okay, the only thing is the vapor is substituted with the dust here. Okay, so but dust explosion requires a pentagon, not the triangle, but today I am not going to discuss that, because first of all you need to grasp that what is fire triangle. Zone 22, a place in which an explosive atmosphere in the form of cloud of combustible dust in a air is not likely to occur in normal operation, but if it occurs will persist for a short period only. Okay, I hope this is just like zone 2 of solvent vapors. Okay, so I hope I have cleared this topic today. So we are at the end of this presentation. So thanks for watching this video. Do like and subscribe. When you subscribe and like our channel, it gives us the inspiration to upload some more videos. Thank you so much and keep watching.